And welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Alondra and today we are making banana bread. I bought these bananas a couple weeks ago and they have been chilling on my counter for probably 10 days past the actual point that I would want to eat them, but they are going to be perfect to use in today's banana bread recipe. For this banana bread recipe, we're going to be baking it in the oven at 350 degrees, so I'm actually going to preheat it now before we get started. If you have a really good nonstick pan, you could probably get away with just greasing it. I prefer the ease of being able to pull it out of my pan using a sheet of parchment paper. So step one for me is going to be lining my 9x5 loaf pan with a piece of parchment and then greasing the two edges where the dough will come into direct contact with the side of my loaf pan. These 3 bananas are going to make 1 loaf of banana bread. So starting in our large mixing bowl, we're going to mash up our 3 very ripe bananas until it's like the consistency of a baby food. It does not have to be perfect. A few small lumps are okay. So with that mashed together, we're going to go ahead and set this to the side. And we're going to mix together our dry ingredients. So we're starting out with 220 grams of all-purpose flour. We have a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I prefer to mix my dry ingredients separate versus adding everything into the bowl at once. By mixing the smaller amounts, so our salt, our baking soda, our cinnamon, in with our flour, it's just one extra step that we can take to ensure that those ingredients are distributed well without over mixing the flour. So in this bowl that has our mashed bananas in it, we're gonna go ahead and add in 114 grams of melted butter and 80 grams of plain yogurt. After those are totally mixed in, we're gonna go in and add our 200 grams of brown sugar. I use dark brown sugar because that's what I had in my pantry, but I'm sure if you had light brown sugar, that would be totally fine. All right, and finally, we're gonna add our 2 whole room temperature eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste. Now we have all of our dry ingredients in one bowl and all of our wet ingredients combined in the other bowl. We're going to add our flour mixture just until it's almost combined. We're looking for a few streaks of flour. In order to have a really moist banana bread, we don't want to overwork our flour. I asked my son if he wanted to do walnuts or chocolate chips. Kind of a silly question because I knew that he was going to pick chocolate chips. So for our banana bread recipe, I'm also going to be adding in a half a cup of some mini chocolate chips because that itself is going to require a little bit of stirring. I'm stirring my flour in just until it's almost fully combined. So you'll see it has very few streaks of dry flour left. All right, well, now that our dough is ready to go and our oven is fully preheated, we're just gonna spoon this over into our prepped loaf pan and then pop it in the oven. Because it is such a wet and heavy dough, it's gonna be in there for about 50 to 60 minutes. I read that a toothpick inserted should come out clean. I don't have any toothpicks in my kitchen, but I do have some fondue sticks that are pretty skinny, so I'll usually poke it with a fondue stick around the 50-minute mark. I'm looking for it to come out clean, maybe with a few moist crumbs, but we're trying to ride this really fine line between underbaked and doughy on the inside, which is unfavorable, and too done where once your banana bread cools down, it's like really dry and almost sucks the moisture out of your mouth. So I'm looking for just barely done, maybe a few moist crumbs left on, well, the fondue stick, or if you have them, a toothpick inserted near the center. So our banana bread is all done. Let me tear off another little piece. My name is Alondra. Today was our episode 4 of Back to Basics series, where we made a chocolate chip banana bread. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you in the next one.